Hi again, we're going to be covering root cuttings today. The practical students have to do root cuttings as part of their assessment, and the theory students cover it in the unit propagation of plants, so hopefully this will cover for those students. Root cuttings are exactly what they are. We take the root of a plant and we propagate a new plant from the root. There is quite a selection of plants that can be done this way, and I don't think it's a very common way that people do it at home. So if you have a look here, we've got some examples. So we can say we've got herbaceous plants, we can do some shrubs this way, we can do some climbers this way, and we can do some trees this way. A lot of people concentrate just on the herbaceous plant section, but there's no reason why you can't expand into these other categories as well. So we've got things like your Papaver orientale, Primula denticulata, you've got your Echinops there, some of your phloxes can be done, you've got your Verbascum, and then in the shrubs, things like your Chinomales, your lilacs in the Syringa, and then we've got some trees, your Elianthus and your Catalpa, your Robinia, the Catalpa we've got outside here, so that's one that could be done this way. So there are two types of root cuttings that we do, and they are vertical and horizontal. And what determines which one is done which way is the thickness of the root. So here we've got two examples of plants. This one here, I've just washed them off so they're a little bit wet. This one here is Primula denticulata. And this one here is Symphytum officinale, which is comfrey, the herb comfrey. Now, if you look at the root system on these, you can see there's a definite difference between the roots of the comfrey and the roots of the primula. The main difference is that these are very thin and these are particularly fat. These, as in the comfrey, and the fat, nice thick roots are going to be done vertically. The very thin roots, because they will desiccate more easily and they need to have a food store to encourage rooting, we need more roots, so they're going to be done horizontally. So let's have a quick look at vertical, because we'll do that one first. We've got a little table here that shows you the little facts about vertical root cuttings. So about when to do them, the material that we're going to collect, and as you can see here it says that we're after pencil thick roots. The length that we're going to take them, so 5 to 10 centimeters. How to prepare it, I'm going to show you that. The growing media that we require, and as you can see it says cutting compost, equal parts peat substitute and a gritty sand or perlite. Mine's got grit in it. I've prepared it already and I've filled the pots just to save us a bit of time. How we insert them, I'm going to show you that. And then the aftercare and the problems that we can have with such cuttings. So let's have a little look at the thick vertical root cuttings then. The key point with the vertical root cuttings is to make sure that we understand the polarity. The polarity meaning that the point nearest the plant is the north and the furthest away is the south, and that's the way it will be presented in the pot. So we need to have it, the section that's nearest the plant will have to be upward facing in the pot, and the bit that's furthest away will be downward facing in the pot. Now, as it said on there, we want a length that's between 5 and 10 centimeters. We've got our ruler here. So we've got our 5 to 10 centimeters there. These are particularly thick, so the 5 centimeters is fine. And I'm going to work my way back. So I can say there that we've got 5 centimeters there. I'm going to take it a little bit more because I'm going to tidy up this end. So I'm going to take it up to the 7 there. And then bring that over to my board. Now, you can see how the dirty end there was the bit that was furthest away. The clean cut there is the bit that was nearest the plant. The bit that was furthest away, I'm going to change it to an angled cut. And then I'm just going to tidy that up to a nice straight edge on there. Any of these little laterals, because we don't want those rotting before it's got established, they can just be removed. And that is basically the root cutting for comfrey. Now, because it's vertical, it's going into a pot. The pot needs to be deep enough to take the length of the cutting. In the centre of the pot, just put a hole. We're going to insert it in until it's level with the surface there. And then I've got some grit here. And I'm just going to go around that with the grit. It doesn't even matter if it has a little bit over it, but there we go, we can see it's there. And then we would write a label and then place a label in it, water it, and then it will go into the cold frame outside. So they're so simple. So that was the vertical. There we go. Leave that one over there. And then we've got the horizontal. So, as you can see, we take them at the same time. The material that we want is going to be thinner. Because it's going to be thinner, we need more of it. So the centimetres here is 7.5 to 12.5. So it's slightly bigger because before it was 5 to 10. So now we're going, and I'm going to go with this one nearer to 12.5 because they're very thin. So let's go over and have a little look. So as we can see here, we want the thickest of the thinnest, if you see what I mean. So, and they need to be the right length as well. They need a little bit of teasing out, and they're brittle. They've just been come out of wet ground, so they're full of moisture already. And we need to take it as far back as we can to the crown there. And then before we actually take it off, I'm going to measure it to make sure it's, because I don't want to take roots off to just discard them. So from that point there, can you see how it's just almost reaching the 12? Once it's been tidied up, it'll be nearer to 10. Can you see that? So I'm going to take that off nice and gently to the crown so I'm not damaging anything. Still attached there. Then bring it over to the board. And then we're just going to have a little look at it. It's already been washed. If you're doing this outside and you're leaving the plant outside, I did it like this so you can see the difference, then give them a wash before you do this. So again, I'm going to move the laterals just so they don't rot before it's taken root. And then I'm going to tidy both ends. Now, because this is going horizontal, I'm just going to do straight cuts on both ends because we're not interested in the polarity at this point. The polarity in the vertical was because one part of it had to go down and one part stayed up. So in this case, it's going horizontal, so nothing's going down. They're all going to be the same. Just to do a little measure to see how much that is now we've tidied it up, just for you to have a look. So you can see how it's just about 11. There. If you can see it because I've got my fingers in the way. It's just about 11. And then we're going to get our dibber and draw a line in the compost because these want to go down about 1 centimetre below the surface there. So I've gone down a little bit. I'm going to settle it in and bring the compost over it. So it's nice and hidden there. And then I'll probably fill this tray now I've got that lifted out, but I'll just, once it's done, again, we just cover it with the grit. Label it, water it, into the cold frame. And it is as easy as that, really. So, there we have the vertical, the horizontal. I'll put those in the co-frame. You can watch their progress when you come back to college. And you'll be doing it when you come back to college. So take note, everybody.